Live from the leader of high school football coverage in the Permian Basin, this is First Alert 7's Friday Night Blitz. Brought to you by Odessa College, United Supermarkets, and Dr. Pepper. Now, here's First Alert 7 Sports Director Jair Brooks Davis and Jensen Young.
And welcome back to the Permian Basin's most in-depth and most experienced high school football show, where we cover the most games. Before we even go into that football, Jensen, how did you feel heading into week 3?
Well, definitely some big matchups here for week 3. Last week was very, very exciting. I was in Midland for it. You were in Odessa a couple of times this week.
Yes, I was. So we're going to start it out with tonight between Eastwood and the Odessa Broncos. Now, the Broncos were coming fresh off of their win against LD Bell last week. We'll start out with the defense in the first quarter. The Troopers are able to complete the pass. Dominic Santiago comes in and strips the ball away. That will give Big Red their first possession. On the very next play, Mikey Cota, he gets a screen pass over to Andrew Rodriguez. He passes downfield to Kobe Baldonado for a first down. We'll remember his name later on. Now, the Broncos were working in the red zone. Cota finds Andrew Rodriguez for the touchdown, giving Odessa a 7-0 lead. Now, Eastwood would tie it right after. Cota working in the red zone, he takes it by himself this time. Odessa High goes back up 14-7.
Way to fight your way in.
That's right. Now, Eastwood, they would tie it once again, but we can't forget Kobe Baldonado. He gets the TD reception as Odessa gets back in front. This would be a seesaw shootout game. Let's check out the final score. Odessa, they would fall to Eastwood 56-49.
Jair, we were talking about this earlier. That Odessa offense is really showing up. 99 points over the past 2 weeks combined.
But here's the key, Jensen, is that their defense is very, very questionable. That is the Achilles heel to the Odessa Broncos.
Yeah, we knew going into the year that the offense would look really strong with Mikey Cota returning. That wide receiver core, as we saw tonight, is very, very impressive. The likes of Andrew Rodriguez, the likes of Kobe Baldonado. I talked to Kobe in practice. He thought that the team was going to be very, very good this year, so we'll see for them.
Very, very physical kid. It seems like on social media, from what I'm seeing all over X, formerly known as Twitter, is that Kobe is getting some notoriety from, I think, Joey McGuire. I've seen him. I've seen. Well, I could be wrong about that, but the point is, I see him getting some notoriety from some college coaches out there.
And he's only a sophomore, Jair.
He's a sophomore. So yeah, but anyways, we had some more games going on over in Midland. Jensen Young was there.
Yes, we sure did. We had over in Midland, like you said, the Legacy Rebels hosting the Lake Travis Cavaliers. Legacy is still looking for their first win in 2024. Lake Travis got started quickly. Here's around the 10-yard line. Chaston Ditta gives it to Van Hopping, and Jair swing open those double doors and bring out the red carpet. No one is able to touch him as the Cavaliers score first. And Legacy, they force a field goal, and look at that, it's blocked. Legacy's Drew Nicias is going to fall in it. The Rebels take it. On the other end, Jaden Rogers, he's going to drop back, try to take advantage of it. He throws, and it's jumped by Cameron Chance Brooks. He's going to run it all the way back. 14-0 Cavaliers. Now inside the 10, though, Rogers gives it to Wesley Glass. He's almost stopped by the defense, but way to stay on your feet. There's a touchdown for the Rebels. A similar situation now on the 1-yard line. This is a fun one, Jair. Rogers gives it to Andrew Hodge. He's right on the edge, but it's ruled a touchdown by the refs. Legacy ties it up at 14 apiece, but look at this. This is a lot of effort from Andrew Hodge. We're about to see it. You might want to look away, everyone. He loses a little bit there, and he's going to end up running straight to the trash can. I hope that Hodge ended up okay. Big score for them. Let's check out the final score, though. Legacy, they were making it happen when I was there in the first half for sure, but Lake Travis ends up with a 21-point victory over Legacy. Legacy still looking for their first win.
That is right, Jensen. Now, there was something that happened early on the field from what we were told from Jacob Brandenburg.
Yes.
According to Jacob Brandenburg, he said that Jaden Rogers, Legacy's quarterback, got horse-collared, laid out of bounds, and he was carted to the locker room with an apparent knee injury. So
yes, that was during the second quarter, so we don't know the extent of the injury. We will find out from Coach Hartman at some point soon, but we hope the best for Jaden. Obviously, a very great performance from him individually, and unfortunately did not end up in the win, but we wish the best for Jaden.
Yeah, so when it comes to what happened tonight, we will follow up with Coach Hartman later on in the week when it comes to Jaden's injury and what the future for Legacy is going to be, especially at the quarterback position.
Yeah, he's a very integral part to that Legacy team. Obviously, they are winless this year, but he's had some incredible performances. Last week in week 2, he contributed 6 touchdowns for the Rebels. That was actually their first points of the year as well. They didn't score in week 1, but he had an incredible performance in week 2. Jaden, we're wishing you the best on your recovery.
And one more thing I will add is that Jacob also followed up by saying Jaden was out of his pads. Jacob followed up by saying Jaden was out of his pads and on crutches coming out of halftime. So we will have to follow
shut down
up
before the game was even over.
So we will have to follow up with that. Jensen, I'll get more into. We can talk more about our 6A teams once we finish off our 6A highlights. So we also have Midland High. They were in Amarillo. Elijah McCoy, he's going to get the handoff and he's going to charge his way forward, and he bulldozes his way for the first down. Now let's keep the camera on him. He's left nearly untouched as he makes his way through the end zone for the TD. Now the Bulldogs special teams did a great job tonight. Julian Williams is able to block the punt. Anthony Cobb is able to catch it, and he runs his way back to the house, and that will be a touchdown for the Bulldogs. So let's check out the final score tonight. Midland High, they got the win over the Amarillo Sandies, 49-42. Midland High, they are now 2-1 on the season, and they will host El Paso Montwood next Friday. And may I say, the Bulldogs should be able to bludgeon El Paso Montwood. And if you're a Montwood fan, I mean, you could be mad at me for all I care. I mean, I'm just gonna tell it how it is, man.
And for Midland, this will be their first game at home this season. They've been on the road all 3 weeks. Actually, we will need to hear when we talk to Coach Thad Fortune. We'll need to hear about the Golden Corral up in Amarillo. The past 2 weeks when they were in El Paso at some point. They were
they were in El Paso last week.
They were in the DFW as well. Coach Fortune was saying that El Paso has the better Golden Corral. We'll see what he thinks about the Amarillo one.
I have some dark memories at Golden Corral. One time I sold some dinner rolls, but that's a story for another day. Anyways, last night, Permian, they took on the Abilene Eagles. Now, the Panthers, they entered with a 2-0 record. First drive, Jacob Garcia is stepping back. He looks for a target downfield. He finds Landon Robles deep in the end zone for the Panther touchdown. They go up 7-0. Now, Abilene would tie on their following drive, but Mojo had a response. Jacob Garcia with the toss over to Gavin Black. He uses his blockers as he goes downfield. No one in front. He strolls in for the touchdown, and Permian is back on top with a 14-7 lead. Now we got to keep an eye on Black. Second quarter, he gets the handoff again and dodges the defense. Black finds the end zone for his second touchdown of the night as Permian takes a 21-7 lead. Now Abilene scored right after, but Mojo had a quick response. Garcia, he's going to fake the handoff, and he finds Tyron Williams cutting across midfield. He eludes the defense, and he gives Permian a 28-14 lead. Now the Eagles were able to get a safety, and they trailed 28-16. Black helps extend the Panthers' lead as he makes it to the house with his third touchdown of the night. Permian got their restitution with a 42-37 victory over Abilene, and they now begin 3-0 in 2024.
Wow, and Permian is the only undefeated team in that district, including Odessa, Midland Legacy, and then also San Angelo and Friendship. Permian is the only one that is 3-0, the only one that does not have a loss on the year.
Yes, that is right. Now, quickly, let's evaluate our 6A teams and just our opening thoughts so far. We're going to start off with Odessa High. We're going to start with let's start off with Odessa High. Jensen, what are you thinking so far?
Okay, well, yeah, so I talked with them before the season started. I talked with Coach Eric Hartman. Welcome back to Odessa, Coach Eric Hartman. Congratulations on getting a victory already in your return, but not tonight, unfortunately. But yeah, so Odessa, when I was talking with them, the offense was going to be a big part of their success this year, returning Mikey Cota, a really impressive wide receiver core, as we were talking about earlier, the likes of Andrew Rodriguez, Baldonado, very impressive. But they were optimistic about their defense. Hasn't really shown up too much in the past 2 weeks. Week 1 obviously was canceled due to weather, but not really showing up a whole lot on the defensive side.
I think that right now, it's the question for Odessa High is their defense as of this moment. And I think that at running back, it's a little bit questionable going forward. I do think that it would be cool to see Kobe Baldonado getting some snaps at running back and seeing how that would go, because he's a very big and physical kid.
Yeah, speaking of, he is 6'2". I did also see him lining up at tight end during practice before the season. So he can kind of go all over the place. But, I mean, I think that would be scary, seeing a 6'2" sophomore Kobe Baldonado at running back. If I were the opposing team, I don't know if I would want to see that.
That's right. Now,
I wasn't good at football, but I still would not like to see him either way.
Yes. Now, one person that people definitely don't want to see is Gavin Black with the Permian Panthers.
Yes.
What are your
We
thoughts?
already saw that he had three touchdowns on video there. I think he had a fourth.
He had a fourth one later on.
So another guy that you would not want to see at running back, mainly because he's just so productive. He was a big part in their Week 2 win last week as well. Obviously, a massive part. Who knows? I want to give us a little sneak peek, but very good performance this week. So maybe.
Very good performance, but I think that Permian, just the defense was a little bit spotty to end the game, but they were able to hold on for the win. So we're going to keep an eye on what the Panthers can do throughout the rest of the season. But they are the only team in this district around Midland or Odessa that is 6A that has not suffered a loss. So that is very good for them.
It is non-district, but still. 3-0. They're the only team that's 3-0.
Yes, let's go to Midland Legacy before we get to Midland High. Midland Legacy, I mean, we already just talked about Jaden Rogers in that situation.
We wish him the best again, yes.
Yes, once again, we do wish him the best. But where do the Rebels go from here?
It's tough. They've really stacked the beginning of their season, 3 straight games with 3 straight very, very tough opponents. It was Allen Week 1, Euless Trinity Week 2, and then this week it was the number 8 team in the entire country, that being Lake Travis. Actually, I think, is Allen ranked as well?
Allen came in ranked number 7.
Okay.
If I had that one correctly at first to begin the season.
Yeah. So the Legacy has had some very, very tough matchups. That was something that Coach Hartman was really looking for to prepare his team for when they get further into the season, into the districts, because he's emphasized to us a couple of times that we've talked to him, it's non-district. This is the time to learn, get ready for district. That's where it all counts, because you have to make the playoffs to make it to the state final or anywhere in the state playoffs whatsoever. So he's just hoping to really focus in on the district.
Well, that's what the focus is, but of course things are going to shift right now with Jaden Rogers.
Yes.
I mean, what I was going to say is that they were going to gel heading into the district. So we're going to find out more about Jaden Rogers' injury and his situation, and then how the Rebels will be able to go forward. So we'll hear more about that. Of course we want to move on. Lastly, Midland High. Just your thoughts so far about them.
Well, we know that they like their Golden Corral. Shout out to Coach Dad Fortune for that. But yeah, a win tonight, 2-1 on the season. I mean, outside of Permian, I think that they are the only one with a winning record. Actually, no, Friendship also does have a winning record. They had 2-1 as well.
Yeah, so Midland High, they play tough defense. Well, we gave them 42 points tonight, so that's a very tough break for them. But
they're a very physical team, though. We saw last week only 1 pass attempt, which we learned was actually also a little bit of miscommunication. So they had to call a timeout before they did that 1 pass attempt, which was incomplete, by the way. So very, very physical, very, very run-heavy team. Coach Fortune was telling me he wants to get through some games, if possible, where he only runs and they still win.
Yeah, so right before we move on, I will say this. I will be at a Sound Broadband Stadium next week, and Midland High, they are going to be going up against El Paso Montwood. And for all of you fans out there that are El Paso Montwood fans, I don't care, because the Midland High Bulldogs are going to dominate next Friday's game. Jensen, I am going to say it right now. The Bulldogs are coming. Montwood Rams. I'm telling you, Bulldogs over Rams. I don't care. Anyways, let's keep on going with the program.
OYB on you Bulldogs.
OYB is coming.
You're also going to be there. That means for Midland's first home game of the season. 3 straight on the road.
Yes.
All right, we have some more to get to. Speaking of Midland, let's talk about Midland Christian. They were up in Bushland at Falcon Stadium. Midland up here with a handoff to Keandre Garnett, and really nothing there. He's met by a few Falcons. A big stop for Bushland in front of the home crowd. Still Midland ball play action here. The Bulldogs' True Blackburn is going to take it himself down the sideline for a big first down. And that will put Midland in Bushland territory here near the goal line. It's going to be another quarterback keeper. Blackburn gets the Bulldogs on the board first. Midland Christian started off well, but it didn't last for very long. The Falcon offense would really wake up, and they would get the win. It was 35-14 in favor of the Bushland Falcons, Jair. So Midland Christian drops down to 1-2.
Ooh, very tough break for Midland Christian. So, I mean, they're going to be at home over the next couple of weeks, and they will actually be taking on the Friendship Tigers. So we're going to be checking in on them as a
little sneak preview of maybe the 6A division then.
Yes, that is true. That is very, very true, Jensen.
That can be a pretty fun one.
Yes. Now, there was also a lot more going up in Andrews, but before we even go to the highlights, we also have to start off with Band of the Week.
Here's tonight's Band of the Week, brought to you by America's Wholesale Furniture.
So we had Greenwood and Andrews face off for Band of the Week. Let's see who the winner was. Greenwood, they got the win, 12,737 to Andrews' 6,975.
All right, well, congratulations to the Greenwood Ranger Band on winning our Band of the Week, but it's a very interesting game for Greenwood at Andrews. Our Tyler Poglich was up there. Tyler, what do you have for us?
Over in Andrews, it will be a matchup of two teams at 1-1. The Mustangs taking on the Greenwood Rangers. Let's take a look at some first half highlights. On the first drive for the Rangers, running back Nathaniel Romeo will punch it in on the goal line, taking the early 7-0 lead. But the Mustangs would answer right back with a touchdown of their own from running back Jay Sean DeBose, but would bail on the 2-point conversion, trailing 6-7. But the Mustangs wouldn't trail for too long, as Jay Sean would find the end zone again, and this time the Mustangs would get that 2-point conversion, taking the 7-point lead, making it 14-7. After that drive, the Rangers would answer again in unique style though, as quarterback Lincoln Madrid would at first lose control of the snap, but it wouldn't matter, as he would scoop up the ball and take it to the house to cut the lead right before half. The Rangers would try to go for the lead on a 2-point conversion, where Dylan Payton would get the 2-point conversion, taking a 15-14 lead at halftime.
All right, wow, how about that? A 1-point win for Greenwood over Andrews, going into the Andrews house and winning for the Rangers.
Walking the trap, take over the trap. They just won, Band of the Week, and they won the game. So Greenwood should be pretty happy with themselves.
Yeah, now 2-1 this season is Greenwood. They are just behind Fort Stockton in terms of not having only 2 wins. Fort Stockton has 3. We'll get to Fort Stockton a little bit later on.
That is right, Jensen.
As for some more games, Monahans also in the district with Greenwood. They needed a win. They were 0-2 going into today. There you go, 1-2 now, 28-12 in favor of Monahans.
Must feel pretty good to be a Monahans Lobos fan. Now, we also had some more games going on the other side of the Midland, Odessa area, but in Big Spring, Borger got the win over the Big Spring Steers, 45-28. So Big Spring, they are, just trying to tread water right now, Jensen. Pretty tough night.
Yeah, Big Spring is looking for something big to come up for them. Not tonight, though. Borger gets a big win. We have some more games to cover, though. Let's check out a pretty good one here. Pecos at Fort Stockton. Armando Gomez is there. Armando, what do you have for us?
The Fort Stockton offense almost perfect in the first half, scoring in almost every single possession they had in the first half. The defense continues to shine, and the special teams played a crucial role in this first half. Check out the highlights. As Pecos and Fort Stockton meet in the middle, Fort Stockton looking to extend their unbeaten streak as Pecos looking for their second win of the season. In the first quarter, the Pecos were ready to punt the ball away, but a high snap goes over the head of Navarro, and Fort Stockton recovers the football. Fort Stockton looking to score the first touchdown of the game. Norman makes a quick throw to his receiver, Angel Lujan, to put the Panthers on top. Pecos looking to get back in the game, but Diego Ramos with an interception as Panthers defense continues to shine so far this season. Fort Stockton back on offense. Cash Norman rolls to his left, and he is going to keep this one and walks in for a 15-yard touchdown. Pecos offense is back on the field, looking to get back in the game as Colt Salgado scrambles out of the pocket, but Diego Ramos, reading the eyes of the quarterback, makes the interception, the second turnover of the night for the Panthers defense. The Panthers offense picks up where they left off, a fake handoff to Jerry Diaz as Norman throws it down the field and finds his wide receiver, Fabian Silva, for the third touchdown of the night. Before the end of the first half, Pecos looking to score a field goal, but it was blocked by Avian Acosta as the special teams played a huge role in the game. The halftime score, Fort Stockton 28 and Pecos 3.
Well, Fort Stockton up big at half and up big at the final score as well, 56-24. I guess I kind of spoiled this a little bit earlier, saying that Fort Stockton was the only one with 3 wins in the division. But there you go, big win, 3-0 now, 3-0 now for Fort Stockton.
Thanks a lot, Jensen, for spoiling it for our viewers.
Yeah, apologies to that, Armando. But thank you very much for your highlights, and congratulations to Fort Stockton on the win. We have more games to get to. How about Coahoma and Kermit, the Bulldogs, and the Yellow Jackets? Coahoma is going to take it here. Quarterback Boyd Cox launches it. Who's that going to be coming under it? It's Bryce Davis. He brings it in. He'll take it all the way for a touchdown. A great start for the Bulldogs. Now Kermit, Mauricio Perez, he's going to take it himself. He runs right by the Coahoma defense. He walks in for a touchdown. But Coahoma's offense was firing on all cylinders. Here's Jaden Vineyard. He gets another touchdown for the Bulldogs. Coahoma goes into Kermit's house and gets the better of the Yellow Jackets. Let's look at the final score. A big win for Coahoma, 49-21.
Very big win tonight for Coahoma. As a matter of fact, they're going to have a bye week next week. So, I mean, definitely good way to go into the bye week, Jensen.
Yes, we've seen a lot of impressive things from that Coahoma offense so far in 2024. We've already had actually a player of the week from them already in quarterback Boyd Cox, who we saw throw a really good touchdown to Bryce Davis.
Yes, and we'll talk more about our player of the week in just a very just in a couple of minutes, excuse me. Now, we also had some more scores tonight. Odessa Compass going up against Reagan County. Reagan, they got the win tonight, 38-7. So pretty nice start on the year for the Owls. I'm sorry, I almost said the Compass Cougars. Excuse me.
Yeah, not a great start for the Cougars, at least not tonight. 38-7, as you were saying there. As for the McCamey Badgers, a close win for McCamey there, 19-15. You don't see 19 on the scoreboard too often. Maybe it was a couple missed point after attempts for them.
It could have been 2 touchdowns with 2 2-point conversions and a field goal for all we know.
Oh, it could be that as well. Maybe McCamey is making it happen at the 2-point conversions. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't done math in a while, but I mean, I still know my multiplication and my addition and my subtraction and my division. So you have to give me a little bit of credit on that.
All right, we'll get the basic mathematics going there. So yeah, 19-15.
Yeah.
You know what that adds up to?
What?
Can you do your math?
Well, it adds up to 34.
There you go. Look at that.
Yeah. Now, speaking of math, I mean, we have to add up all the rushing yards that Kamad Fashawn put on last week for the Wink Wildcats.
Yeah, let's look at our player of the week.
The player of the week is brought to you by Ranger Clinic.
Well, Jair, as you said, the player of the week is Wink's Kermit Fashawn. He's a sophomore running back for Wink. He contributed, get this, 124 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns in last week's win for Wink, 49-26 over the Stanton Buffaloes. Now, he had a great individual performance. He's a great kid, Jair, though. He was the first to credit his coaches and his teammates.
I have to give credit to a lot of the coaches and also the O-line. You know, without those blocks they do, it's impossible to score, you know, because we need the O-line to win games, not only for defense, offense and defense, you know, just both sides.
Well, when you win 60-7, you probably have another good week if you're Kamad Fashawn. I mean, 4 touchdowns last week, 49 points for Wink, 60 points for Wink this time. We might have to check back in on Kamad.
That is very, very true. Now, one more thing before we move on. 4 touchdowns for 124 yards, right?
Yes.
So 4 divided by 124 is 31. So there you go.
Okay, some more division. Okay,
yeah,
we had addition, now we have division. When are we getting subtraction and multiplication, Jair? We have to get that before we end here tonight.
Well, we'll find a way. But first off, let's talk about the Ira and Braves. So Iron at Crane earlier tonight. Prather Schneeman, he's going to look downfield. He sends a high throw over to Cooper Bowman, who makes it in for the touchdown. No, not the Cooper Bowman from the Midland Rockhounds. Now let's keep an eye on Schneeman. This time he finds Chris Quintero. He's able to get the reception, and he breaks a few ankles, and he goes to his right. He takes this all the way to the end zone for the TD. Ira and jumping all over Crane to get the game started. Now, Schneeman was on fire throughout the night. This time he finds Alex Reyes with the reception. Reyes, he's able to cash in. He'll make it to the end zone for another touchdown. How about the Braves? Because they are braving it out in Crane. Let's just check out the final score. It was Ira and they got the win over Crane, 53-8. Tough start for Robert Ontiveros. He is 1-2 during his tenure with the Crane Golden Cranes.
Yeah, how about that for Ira Ann? Great performance there for them. It looked like at the end there, Alois Reyes almost didn't catch the ball. It looks like he bobbled it for a second, so good awareness to be able to bring it in for the touchdown.
Now, one thing before we move on, Jensen, that we have to mention is that IRN is 3-0 to begin the season, so they could become a problem.
Yeah, they felt pretty confident prior to the season, so we'll see what happens for them. This is a very encouraging performance, though, if you are an IRN fan.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, we got more games to get to. This is a very close one. IRN won big. Stanton only won by 1 point, Jair, 37-36 in the Battle of the Buffaloes. Stanton and Forsan.
Battle of the Buffaloes, Forsan, very tough year, very tough start to 2024. I mean,
yeah, they lost to Coahoma in the Howard County Bowl. Now against Forsan in the, maybe we can call it the Buffalo Bowl.
The Buffalo Bowl.
I think we have a few Buffaloes around our area, but maybe it's the Buffalo Bowl. I can't get a win in either one of those.
Yeah, I mean, just what's going on with Forsan, though? That's just something that we have to think about going forward. They're going to be at Wink next Friday, a Wink team that put up 60 points tonight.
On Alpine, by the way.
On Alpine, but I mean, also, well, let me keep.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Wink is incredible. I do like Alpine. Coach Andy Smith is doing some great things down there. He's pretty confident in his team. They really want to fight. They are the Alpine Fighting Bucks for a reason. They want to teach people what that means, but you don't teach people about a fighting team when you lose 60-7.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on Forsan at Wink next week. Now, let's move on over to some six-man football. Balmoral, they got the better over Marfa last night, 22-19.
All right, let's get some more six-man going. How about Rankin and Westbrook? Westbrook, 62 points, dropped on the Red Devils, 62-28 there. As for Grand Falls, even worse off than Rankin. Shut out 54-0 against the Buena Vista Longhorns.
It should be like impossible to like not score in a ball game in six-man football.
I think we're about to see that again, though, Jair. We have more six-man games to talk about. How about Midland TLCA? They also got shut out, but a bigger margin, 67 points for them. As for the Grady Wildcats, they fell 44, 78 points for the Trinity Chargers, though.
I was proven wrong. In more games, the Garden City, they got the better, or actually they fell to the Ackley Sands Mustangs, 63-36. And of course, I'm wrong once again. Sanderson, they got the better over the Nippa Crushers, 46-0.
Yeah, so there you go. Jair, you were saying you don't know how you can score 0 in a six-man game. There's 3 examples for you. You want to add those up? You want to use your little maybe multiplication? Maybe if you can find some multiplication in there.
I mean, like you just said that there was 3.
I think that's just adding up 1, 1, 1, maybe to 3.
Yeah. So that's just 3.
I don't know.
Yeah, 1 plus 1.
I'm trying to get you to use your mathematics here because you were saying you got all 4 addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Mm-hmm. We already saw 2 of them. I was just trying to get you to show off your math skills.
Yeah, I mean, one fun math skill that I have for you is that the number 9 goes into 63 and 36, actually.
Okay, you know what? We'll take that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well then, Jair, let's wrap up by talking about just week 3 as a whole. What did you see out of this? Any notable performances? Any notable wins? Notable losses?
One notable win that I actually have is about the Ira and Braves.
Yes.
I mean, like they came into last week after a pretty solid week 1 win. They defeated the Odessa Compass Cougars, and they really gave it to the Crane Golden Cranes tonight.
53-8, only allowing 1 touchdown to Crane.
Yeah, so I mean, IRN, I think if I'm Dave Campbell's, I would look over at the IRN Braves and see where they are.
Maybe see about pushing into the rankings.
I consider pushing IRN into the rankings within the top 10 because
I think IRN fans would like that.
Yeah, I think that IRN could be a problem going forward during the season. So, and I mean, they went up against a pretty tough Crane team. So the Braves, they could be something this year.
Yeah, definitely a big one there. I would say maybe a big one to focus on, we also just talked about it recently, was Stanton and Forsan, the Battle of the Buffaloes. Stanton, 1-point victory over Forsan. Forsan really looking for some traction so far in 2024.
Yes. Now, Forsan, I mean, it's a little bit puzzling. I'm going to have to check Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine to see where they were predicted to finish off in district. So definitely going to have to check that one out. But also Greenwood versus Andrews. I mean,
that was another 1-point game.
Another 1-point game, a little bit shocking. Well, I mean, I can't say that it's too shocking, but it's a very good battle. So, Andrews, they're going to have to find a way to get back to work. And when we go into district, that's when they could really put in. That's when they could do some damage. And they have a lot of more confidence in themselves, especially them running the slot T for the second straight year.
Yeah, Brian Hill doing some good things out in Greenwood with the Rangers, 2-1 so far this season. I do want to highlight one more game. We were talking about it. We highlighted him specifically with Kermit Fashawn, but the Wink Wildcats, how about that? I mean, 60 points on Alpine. That's a massive, massive performance if you're Wink.
That is 100% true. Plus, they fell in week 1, and at first I was like,
we were talking about after week 1. We were like, oh, is this a little wake-up call for Wink? And I think it was a wake-up call in the good way for Brian Gibson and his Wink Wildcats.
Yeah, now, before we end off the night, you were there earlier in the week. Did Brian Gibson tell you anything about how week 1 translated into week 2 and how they're going to go forward?
Didn't talk to him about week 1, so I can't answer that for you there, unfortunately. Maybe we can chat to Brian Gibson soon.
So now let me ask you this question. How did he seem about, just in general, when you spoke about Kamad, but just how did he seem in general?
Very high spirits from the 8th-year head coach with Wink. I mean, he really thinks that this team could do really big things. Obviously, they were 10-2 last year. They were 12-1 the year before that. So there's precedent for them to be very good with a lot of the core that they have kind of around them still. And now adding in a sophomore like Kamad, that's probably 3 more good years of incredible performances with Kamad. So if I'm Brian Gibson, I'm feeling pretty good about my Wink team. And when in talking with Coach Gibson, he feels good about his Wink team as well.
That's right. Now, that will end off the night here during the Friday Night Blitz. Thank you all for joining us. Jensen, any final thoughts?
Yeah, well, fantastic week 3. We look forward to week 4. Some really good matchups on the way. We'll join you for that.